At the shareholders' meeting, my wife publicly announced she was transferring 5% of her shares to her childhood friend, causing me to miss out on the CEO position by a mere 0.1% less than him. After the meeting, I confronted her to discuss it, but she dismissed it casually, explaining, "Hey Tanji, it's not like you've never been CEO before. Missing out on 2 years won't kill you. But Chinduo is different. He's been away from the workplace for a long time, and this is a good chance for him to get back into the swing of things. I promised his mother I'd take care of him, and I can't just abandon him." Hearing the protective tone in my wife's voice, the urge to argue back sank deep into my gut. She had once again cast me aside for Chinduo. Seeing my silence, my wife tried to comfort me. "I'm just keeping my promise, that's all. Besides, everyone in the company knows you're my husband. Even if you're not the CEO, no one dares to slight you. I promise you, next time I'll be on your side." I let out a cold laugh but said nothing. She had no idea I had already submitted my resignation and withdrawal agreement. Seeing my face still dark, my wife Qin Xian's smile gradually faded, and her tone turned icy. "It's just a bit of shares. I gave them away, that's all. Are you really going to make a big deal out of this and give me the cold shoulder?" I stared at the photo frame on the desk without speaking. Following the light, I saw Chinduo's smile in the photo, glaringly obtrusive. It wasn't that I had never been to Qin Xian's office before, but I had never noticed that from a different angle, the frame revealed a wedding photo of her and Chinduo. Such a conspicuous wedding picture. Was it meant to declare to me that she and Chinduo were the real love, while I was just a tool to fend off her family's marriage pressure? I withdrew my gaze. "A small matter. The shares you casually gave away belong to our marital joint property. You didn't even say a word before handing them over to an outsider. That's a small matter. These are the fruits of my hard work day and night, not those cups you can just smash whenever you please." Qin Shuran had a fiery temper. Whenever she got angry, she liked to take it out on cups to the point where we had to replace a large batch of them every week. As I finished speaking, she instinctively reached for a cup by her side, only to find it empty. She realized the cup had already been shattered when I first came in to confront her. Clenching her teeth, she glared at me. "That 5% was under my name, not joint property. Pei Tingji, don't you dare slander me." Hearing this, I couldn't help but sneer. The shares under her name were originally transferred to her by me. If we were to trace it back, the only thing truly under her name was the unpaid corporate debt. If it weren't for our elders' insistence on keeping their promises, I would never have married into the Qin family, which was on the verge of bankruptcy, to help the Qin family salvage the Qin group. I signed a contract promising a 3-year term. During that time, I would serve as the executive CEO to handle affairs, and the Pei family would inject capital to settle the debts. But now, just 1 year in, Qin Shuran had already forgotten how miserable the Qin family was a year ago, how they were looked down upon everywhere. And now, to help Qin Duo, she went all out buying shares and lobbying for him among the shareholders, personally giving him 5% of her shares so that he could have a 0.1% higher stake than me. And she called it keeping her promise to help him get familiar with the workplace. Did she really think I didn't know what she was up to? She saw the Qin group improving day by day and wanted to pave the way for Qin Duo. The wedding photo was already taken. How long had she been fantasizing about a second marriage? Thinking this, I said coldly, "Qin Shuran, since you're so desperate to let Qin Duo manage the company, then I'll grant your wish. Just don't come later." With that, I turned and walked out, ignoring the thunderous sound of things being smashed behind me. I casually instructed the assistant outside, "Once she's done venting, bring her a new set of cups." After all, we were still legally married and I had to keep up appearances. "President Pei, the termination contract has been submitted." My assistant reminded me. I nodded. When I took the CEO position, although it was a mutual agreement as the leading party, I had the right to terminate unilaterally. Now, since Qin Shuran had betrayed the alliance between our two families first and had allowed Qin Duo to interfere in company affairs, I had no choice but to directly dissolve the contract. My assistant nodded and immediately sent a message to the Pei family side to prepare the relevant termination procedures. I had to make Qin Shuran understand that my Pei family was not a lamb for her to slaughter. Just then, a bucket of paint was splashed right in front of me. Caught off guard, my custom-made leather shoes were instantly ruined, completely unrecognizable. I coldly glared at the culprit. The man looked at me disdainfully. "What are you looking at? Still think you're the CEO?" You just spent a few years abroad drinking some foreign water, and you think you're something special. You knocked over the materials for Mr. Chen's office renovation, so you have to pay for it in full. This bucket costs 100,000. Pay up now. The assistant said coldly. This is President Pei. Watch your words. Ever since I returned to the country, I had married Qin Shuran. Apart from Qin Shuran and a few major shareholders, no one in the entire company knew that besides being the president of the Qin Group, I was also the power holder of the Pei Group. During my time in this position, I rarely appeared before my subordinates. I usually finished my work and left. So, it was understandable that they had never seen my face. I expect that. After the assistant spoke, the other person spat. What, President Pei? Don't think I don't know. You're nothing but a live-in son-in-law of the Qin family. If it weren't for Qin Shuran having no other choice, why would she marry you? Don't be so smug. I hate opportunists like you more than anything. Listening to the assistant's whispered explanation, I slowly pieced together what he meant. When Qin Shuran married me, she had been in a relationship with Chen Duo. The entire company knew about it. It was just that Chen Duo had met with an unexpected accident and had been in a coma for a year, only waking up half a month ago. My appearance was seen as stealing her away, and everyone thought I had destroyed their relationship. Now that Chen Duo was returning to the company to take the position of president, they all came out to seek justice for him. I glanced at the other person's confident expression and asked coldly, "Who told you I was a live-in son-in-law of the Qin family?" The other person sneered dismissively. Of course President Chen told us. Even if he hadn't, we could have guessed. You parachuted into the company and directly became president. What else could you be if not a live-in son-in-law? Qin Shuran would never let an unrelated outsider hold such a high position in the company. As he spoke, the people around him chimed in agreement. They accused me of forcing Qin Shuran and Chen Duo apart and even humiliating him at the shareholder meeting. The unpleasant words kept drilling into my ears. And I couldn't help but clench my fists. Get HR here immediately. I don't want to see these people tomorrow. As soon as I finished speaking, Chen Duo's figure appeared behind the crowd. Standing beside him was Qin Shuran. Su, I know I didn't win this fairly, but I only wanted to do my best for the company and make up for the time I missed and what I owe you. But in the end I did win. Even if President Chen dislikes me, there's no need to fire my people right in front of me. These are the old hands who have been with me for years. Ashu, you know me. I've always valued relationships. With just one word from President Qin, all the people I've spent years cultivating are gone. How am I supposed to work in the company from now on? As he spoke, tears glistened in his eyes. Putting on a show of being forced to endure, Qin Shuran's heart immediately ached for him. She turned to glare at me. Pei Tingji, Chen Duo has just recovered from a long illness. He's already sensitive and overthinking, and you still fire his subordinates right in front of him. Don't think I don't know what you're up to. You just want to vent your anger, don't you? Let me tell you, I gave the shares to Chen Duo willingly. If you have any complaints, take them out on me. Don't hurt him. Watching Qin Shuran act like a protective mother hen, I couldn't help but tighten my grip on my hand. For an outsider like Chen Duo, she had repeatedly turned against me in public. She didn't seem to realize that this was a public setting. Instead, she behaved like a street shrew. I wondered if she even remembered that she was married. Qin Shuran, I'll say it one more time. Fire these people immediately and never rehire them. Otherwise, I'll stop this quarter's funding right now. Qin Shuran's expression froze for a moment at my words, but one tear from Chen Duo made her surrender completely. She didn't care about the consequences at all. Her eyes blazing with anger, she said, "Impossible. As long as I'm here, don't even think about firing a single one of them. Pei Tingji, don't forget. This is the Qin Group. I want you to apologize to Chen Duo publicly right now." As soon as she finished speaking, a chorus of approval rose around us. Everyone looked on with glee, waiting to see me humiliated. My face darkened. Qin Shuran, recognize your position. There are some things I don't want to say in front of everyone. If you keep going down this path, you'll have to bear the consequences of what happens to the company today alone. A flash of triumph flickered in Chen Duo's eyes. He shot me a smug, provocative look. Then, opening his mouth, he twisted the truth. Ashu, don't be angry. If President Pei wants to put me in my place, I'll just take it. This little hardship is nothing to me. As soon as he finished speaking, he couldn't help but start coughing. Qin Shuran's heart immediately ached for him again. She quickly called for someone to bring him a glass of water. You're always too soft-hearted. Your body has only just recovered. If you keep this up, Auntie will say I didn't take good care of you. Her tone was gentle and reproachful as she carefully blew on the water to cool it before handing it to Chinduo. This scene once again drew cries of true love from the onlookers. Even Qin Shuran, who usually paid no attention to such details, now wore a shy expression. A round of applause suddenly interrupted the tender atmosphere. Seeing everyone turn to look, I immediately withdrew my hand. I said coldly, Qin Shuran, since you're so stubborn and refuse to see reason, don't blame me for not warning you. Because of your words and actions today, this quarter's capital injection is completely gone. With that, I turned and began to walk out, but unexpectedly Qin Shuran grabbed my arm. What do you mean? I was just seeking justice for Chinduo. Over such a trivial matter, you're going to pull the funding. Before I could speak, Chinduo, seeing this, immediately started coughing. Ashu, it's all my fault. I know that while I've been away, the company has relied on the investments Pei Zong brought in. Today he just wanted to put me in my place. I can endure this hardship myself. Don't argue with Pei Zong on my behalf anymore. Chinduo's words instantly dispelled the doubts of those around him, directly framing me as someone who couldn't take a loss and was bullying others. Hearing the whisper start up again, I cast a cold glance at Chinduo. I had underestimated him before. I never expected that. Besides being fair-skinned, he was also skilled at putting on an act. Pei Zong, you must apologize to Qin Zong immediately. Someone shouted out, and soon voices of agreement followed. Qin Shuran comforted Chinduo, promising that today she would force me to apologize to him publicly. Then she turned to me, Pei Tingji, if you don't apologize to Chinduo today, don't even think about leaving the company. As she spoke, several security guards rushed over. I glanced at my assistant, who immediately understood and handed me the phone he had on an active call. I thrust it in front of Qin Shuran. I said coldly, it's still not certain who will apologize to whom. Listen to what your old man has to say first. Qin Shuran's face changed color instantly. From the phone came a stern, scolding voice. Qin Shuran, apologize to Tingji immediately and then get your ass back here. Before Qin Shuran could respond, the call had already ended. I sneered. I only accept apologies that involve kneeling and kowtowing. I wonder which one of you will go first. Both of their faces turned deathly pale. Then Qin Shuran screamed in fury, Pei Tingji. I ignored her and said calmly, not kowtowing is fine too. I've already offset it with this quarter's capital injection. But, my shoes were deliberately dirted by your people. You must pay for them in full. My assistant immediately pulled up the invoice for the shoes and said coldly to Chinduo, Qin Zong, these shoes cost 8 million. How would you like to pay? Chinduo's face went white as he looked at Qin Shuran. She hesitated for a moment, then gritted her teeth and pulled a credit card from her bag. No password. I sneered at their pale faces and turned to leave. As my assistant looked at the message popping up on his phone, he asked, Pei Zong, are you really not going to inject capital into the Qin Corporation this quarter? Did you not hear what I just said? Cancel it completely. Don't transfer a single cent. My assistant scratched his head. I thought you were just saying that in anger. After all, Madam did go a bit too far this time. I didn't say anything. She had gone far beyond a bit too far. She had completely forgotten her roots. Since that was the case, I would let her have a good, long memory of what life was like for the Qin family before my Pei family support. After returning from the Qin Corporation, I focused on handling the daily affairs of the Pei Corporation. Not long after, I received a public apology statement released by Qin Shuran and Qin Duo. The very next second, Qin Shuran's phone call came through. Pei Tingji, I've already apologized to you publicly. I suggest you take the win and stop while you're ahead. Restore the capital injection to the Qin Corporation immediately. Hearing the arrogance in her tone, I couldn't help but sneer. Qin Shuran, I've already told you. You will bear all the losses incurred by the company today. You're an adult now. You don't need me to teach you such a simple principle as taking responsibility for your own actions. The receiver erupted with the sound of Qin Shuran's furious voice. Pei Tingji, just you wait. I'm going to tell Grandpa about everything you've done. Then the call was abruptly cut off. Just then my assistant burst in looking flustered. Pei Zong, someone has maliciously edited what you said at the Qin Corporation today and posted it online. Now there's a wave of criticism and even the stock market has taken a small hit. Hearing this, I immediately opened my phone. The first video was a clip of me speaking forcefully about firing those fence sitters. The editing was masterful, twisting black into white with just a few words. My assistant asked anxiously, "Payzone, these videos have already topped the charts and they're still climbing. Our official website has been overrun." I clenched my fists and gave a cold order. "Assemble the PR team, get these trending topics taken down immediately and find the person behind this in the shortest possible time." As his words fell, Old Master Chin's call came in. My brow twitched. "Tingy, it's been so long since you last visited this old man. I've recently acquired a fine pot of tea and would like to invite you for a cup." I steadied my nerves and replied with a smile, "Sure." After hanging up, I immediately instructed my assistant to pass down the orders. "President Pei, I think this whole matter was leaked by the Qin family. Why are you still being so good to them?" my assistant asked indignantly. I gave a light laugh but said nothing. Precisely because I knew it was the Qin family who did it. I had to go, otherwise wouldn't all their efforts have been in vain? No sooner had I proposed terminating the president's contract than this video went viral. Besides, among the Qin family members with authority to handle the contract, only Old Master Qin had that power. I suspect he had a hand in this too. After all, the Qin family was currently surging forward with unstoppable momentum. For the sake of future control, his wariness of me was understandable, but he shouldn't have taken aim at the Pei Corporation. Since he dared to touch the Pei Corporation, he must have prepared to pay the corresponding price. "Bring the wine I just bought a couple of days ago," I instructed my assistant, grabbing my coat and heading out. My assistant hurried to follow. "It's been in the trunk since this morning." Just as I arrived at the Qin family's old residence, I heard a scolding. Drawing closer, I saw that Qin Shuran had brought Qin Duo back with her. Qin Duo was standing at the doorway at that moment. I pretended not to see him, letting my assistant carry the wine as we walked inside. As we brushed past each other, Qin Duo gritted his teeth and said, "Pei Tingji, don't get too cocky. Even if you marry a Shu, so what? The only person she loves in her heart is me." I paid him no mind. After all, this marriage was nearly at its end. Before I even entered the door, I heard Old Master Qin urging Qin Shuran to hurry up and have a child, but Qin Shuran was full of reluctance. "No, I've already sacrificed my marriage for the Qin family. Why should I bear him a child?" Old Master Qin's face darkened. The men of the Pei family value relationships. Even though the Qin family is at its peak now, we're still lacking internally. As long as you two have a child, the Pei Corporation will truly serve the Qin family, and my Qin family can devour the entire Pei Corporation. Hearing this, I couldn't help but sneer. So this was the Pei family's plan. Well, we'll see if Qin Shuran has what it takes. I immediately issued an order to the Pei Corporation's project department to cancel all cooperative ventures with the Qin family. Glancing at my assistant, he stepped forward with the wine to break the tense atmosphere. Old Master Qin, snapping back to reality, put on a calm expression. "Tingji, you've arrived. Butler, hurry and serve the meal. Don't let the dishes get cold." The butler, reading the room, quickly brought out the food. Then he promptly took the wine from my assistant. The young master truly has foresight. Just as the old master was thinking of having a drink, you delivered it. Old Master Qin smiled and chimed in. I hadn't expected Qin Shuran to pull Qin Duo inside right in front of me. She said with an air of righteousness, "Qin Duo hasn't eaten all day. Do you want the Qin family to get a reputation for mistreating guests?" Hearing this, I clenched my fists. "Fine. Since you two are so eager to be together, I'll grant your wish." Old Master Qin gave an awkward smile, but when it was his turn to speak, he remained silent. In that case, there was no need to cling to the old ties between our families. I was about to raise my glass, but my assistant stopped me. "Don't drink. It's water." He then immediately handed me his phone, which was playing surveillance footage of Qin Duo breaking into my car and swapping out the wine. The next second, Qin Duo spoke with ill intent. "Pei Tingji, you're a president, and yet you'd stoop to passing off water as wine." Everyone present was instantly embarrassed. Qin Shuran, upon hearing this, stood up at once as if she'd caught me red-handed and started shouting wildly. "Pei Tingji, what do you mean by this? Dare to bring a bottle of water to insult my Qin family? You're far too arrogant." Just then, feedback from the Pei Corporation's video PR team came in. The documents had been sent to the email. I guessed correctly. Although Qin Duo was the one who uploaded the video, old Master Qin of the Qin family had been fueling the fire behind the scenes. In that case, I had no reason to hold back. My assistant, unable to stand it any longer, placed the car surveillance footage in front of the two of them. Don't be in a hurry, you two. I've already called the police. We'll argue right and wrong once they arrive. Seeing this, old Master Qin hurriedly tried to smooth things over. But before he could even speak, he received news that the Qin Group's capital chain had been severed and all cooperative projects were demanding withdrawal of funds. I coldly watched the sudden shift in everyone's expressions, poured the fake wine from my glass onto the ground, and spoke in a frigid tone. The real show has only just begun. What's the rush? As my words fell, the tightly shut door was suddenly pushed open from outside. Members of the Pei Corporation's project department surged in. Each holding a contract in hand. President Pei, everything is done. All cooperation with the Qin has been halted. The head of the project department handed over a project list which recorded all of the Pei Corporation's investments and collaborations with the Qin family over the past year. Fortunately, we caught it early. Our cooperation with the Qin family wasn't too deep yet. Cutting ties now was like scraping poison from the bone. Qin Shuren's face turned pale. Pei Tingji, what exactly are you trying to do? This is the contract between the Pei and Qin families. Suddenly calling a halt, are you trying to back out and slap my Qin family's face? My grandfather is right here and you're this arrogant and blind to others. Hearing this, I shot a cold glance at Qin Shuren. Her eyes were wide with fury. Her face flushed red from holding back anger. I let out a cold laugh. Qin Shuren, I warned you long ago. If you insist on giving those shares to Qin Duo, then I'll pull all my funding without leaving a single cent to the Qin Corporation. Now, I'm just fulfilling my promise, just like you're honoring your vow to take care of Qin Duo. Upon hearing this, Qin Shuren was momentarily speechless. You old Master Qin stepped in to smooth things over. Tingji, I've heard about the shares. It's true that Shuren was wrong in this matter, but it's just a small amount of shares. It shouldn't come to the point of breaking our two families' contract. Besides, Shuren is still young and her actions can be a bit childish. You've been in business for a long time. Surely you can overlook this. Upon hearing this, I picked up my teacup and said nothing. The reason Qin Duo had been able to quickly gain so many shares in the company was largely due to old Master Qin's behind-the-scenes support. Otherwise, relying solely on Qin Shuren's authority, she couldn't have convinced the other shareholders to unconditionally back Qin Duo. This was also why I insisted on contract. At its core, this issue stemmed from the Qin family not trusting me. They wanted both the Pei family's investment and to preserve their own power, but not everything in this world can go smoothly. If the Qin family hadn't come begging the Pei family with old favors, I wouldn't have bothered with a single blade of grass from the Qin family. Fine, I said. Since the old master says Qin Shuren is young, then Qin Duo isn't young anymore, is he? Let me ask you. What was his intention in maliciously editing and uploading what I said at the Qin Corporation? This incident has had a significant impact on the Pei family, even causing our stock market to dip. He was brought into the Qin Corporation by Qin Shuren. How do you plan to settle this? At this, Qin Duo immediately retorted, you're talking nonsense. What video? I didn't do it. Don't you falsely accuse me. He then turned to Qin Shuren with tear-filled eyes. His voice choked. Shuren, he's framing me. You know me. I would never stoop to doing something so low. Besides, I was already at fault for what happened that day. Why would I upload a video to ruin my own reputation? Qin Shuren raised her hand to call for the butler to bring tissues, carefully wiping the tears that slid down Qin Duo's face. I believe you. This definitely wasn't something you did, she said soothingly. Then she turned to look at me. Pei Tingji, if you have evidence, bring it out. Making baseless accusations to slander Qin Duo, do you think I'm deaf and blind? Besides, I've already told you the shares I gave Qin Duo are my own. I can give them to whoever I want and you have no say in it. Seeing that Qin Shuren was still stubbornly refusing to see reason, I immediately had my assistant present the evidence the public relations team had tracked down. When everyone saw that the IP address behind the video source format was precisely the Riverview villa that Qin Shuren had given to Qin Duo, the first person to change color was Qin Shuren herself. She opened her mouth to argue, impossible, Pei Tingji. This evidence must be fake. Qin Duo would never do something like this. He's as gentle as a lamb. You must have fabricated this evidence. You just found out that this was the house I gave Qin Duo, and now you're using it to stage this scene trying to take the house back. Let me tell you, Pei Tingji, I won't believe it. Even with the evidence laid out in front of her, she still refused to accept it. In that case, I said, then just wait for the police to show up. I've already filed a complaint with the court. Given the severity of his crime and the enormous impact it caused, he's looking at least 10 years in prison. After saying this, I poured another cup of tea and handed it to Old Master Qin. Hearing this, Qin Duo couldn't help but tremble. Old Master Qin took the tea with an awkward smile, carefully choosing his words. Qin Duo was indeed wrong in this matter, but there's no need to take it all the way to court. If word gets out that the Pei family is being overly petty, it could hurt the Pei family's development. How about, for the sake of this old man, let's make a big deal small and a small deal nothing. I let out a cold laugh and blew on the tea in my cup. He was so eager to resolve this because he was afraid that if it really came to light, it would eventually expose his own behind-the-scenes involvement. Old master, it's not about your face. Even if the Bodhisattva herself came, this matter would have to go to court. Otherwise it would be hard for me to answer to the entire Pei group. Besides, this incident has had no small impact on the Pei family. I can't just swallow this loss and let the culprit walk free. No sooner had I finished speaking than Qin Shuran grabbed a cup and threw its contents at my face. Fortunately, my assistant blocked it with a folder. Pei Tingji, you're out of line. You won't even listen to my grandfather. Don't forget, you're still son-in-law of the Qin family. Son-in-law, now she wants to play that card. But when she was favoring Qin Duo before, did she ever stop to think about her own position? Qin Shuran, don't try to pull rank with me. I'll make this clear right now. I will not let this rest. Anyone who damages even a single shred of the Pei group's interests will face my full reckoning. After saying this, Old Master Qin's face darkened. I'll call your grandmother right now and ask if the promise she made me back then still holds. He slammed his cane against the floor, the sound echoing through the room. Hearing this, I glanced at my assistant. He immediately dialed my grandmother's number and handed the phone to Old Master Qin. Unexpectedly, after just a few words, his face turned even darker than before. Everyone present exchanged uneasy glances, having clearly heard my grandmother's reply. The Pei group is now under a Ye's control. I'm old and can't manage anything anymore. If he's doing this, he must have his reasons. Qin Shuran couldn't help but interrupt. Grandma Pei, but back then it was my grandfather who saved your life. You can't forget that debt of gratitude. Upon hearing this, my grandmother's tone shifted abruptly, growing harsh. I've already repaid that debt by letting a Yi marry you and promising to help salvage the Qin group. That's a generous return. Shuran, you need to learn to understand a Yi. He's your husband. With that, my grandmother hung up. Old Master Qin's face grew even darker. My grandmother's words should be clear to everyone. I will not let this go. As I spoke, I deliberately glanced toward Qin Duo. Qin Duo, standing off to the side, looked as if someone had him by the throat, his expression filled with terror. Qin Shuran tried to comfort him. Don't worry. I won't let anything happen to you. Grandfather won't sit idly by. Hearing this, Qin Duo seemed to find his backbone. Clutching Qin Shuran's wrist tightly, Shuran, I was just momentarily blinded. I didn't mean it. I only wanted to help you get some revenge after how he embarrassed you at the company. I just wanted to stand up for you. By now, Qin Duo was rambling, desperately insisting he had acted to avenge Qin Shuran, but he didn't know that I had more than one piece of evidence. No one connected to this matter would escape. Just then, the tightly shut doors were pushed open from the outside once more. This time, several police officers entered. The lead officer presented a court summons. Who is Qin Duo? Please come with us. The moment the words fell, Qin Duo immediately tried to bolt, but he was caught after just a few steps. Qin Shuran saw the official seal on the summons and panicked instantly. Stepping in front of the officers, wait, I'm Qin Shuran. You can't take Qin Duo away. The police paid her no mind, moving around her to take Qin Duo. They warned, Miss Qin, please do not obstruct official business. Then Qin Shuran turned to me, her eyes red. Pei Timji, drop the charges right now or I'll jump off the Pei Group building. I'll make sure you can never wash away the guilt of killing your wife. Hearing this, you'd think Qin Duo was her husband. I coldly uttered two words, be my guest. Someone as afraid of pain as her would never actually do such a thing. Qin Shuran instantly went berserk. Qin Duo cried out to her for help. Shuran, save me. I don't want to go to prison. Seeing that she didn't respond, he turned to me in panic. President Pei, I know I was wrong. I don't want those shares anymore. Please drop the charges and I'll transfer the shares to you immediately. But he realized his mistake far too late. The arrow was already on the string. There was no turning back. After Qin Duo was taken away in public, old Master Qin, who had remained silent, smashed the teacup on the table. Today I finally saw where Qin Shuran got her habit of smashing things at the slightest provocation. The crisp sound echoed through the room and everyone present kept their eyes down, not daring to breathe. Pei Tingji, even if you are the head of the Pei Group, this is the Qin family home. You have no right to act so arrogantly here. Even if I shouldn't, I already have. I never did before, but today I won't miss the chance. Old Master Qin pointed at me, his face flushed red. He couldn't get another word out. Seeing this, I couldn't be bothered to keep talking to these hypocritical Qins. I gestured to the project department, and they immediately placed the termination contract in front of old Master Qin. Since the matter of Qin Duo deliberately framing me is settled, let's move on to discussing the dissolution of our partnership. I've already drafted the contract, just waiting for you to sign it. Old Master, the moment I finished, Qin Shuran slapped me without warning. I turned my head, the sting spreading across my face, a burning sensation lingering long after. Pei Tingji, isn't it enough that you had Qin Duo arrested? Do you want to destroy the Qin family too? Listening to her accusation, I touched my cheek. I said coldly, "Humph, the Qin family won't even last long enough for me to make a move. Without the funds, you'll be lucky to survive even a month." Old Master Qin tightened his grip on the walking cane in his hand, but on the surface, he still maintained a look of amiability. "Tingji, the matter between you and Shuran is ultimately a private affair between husband and wife. There's no need to elevate it to something as significant as the cooperation between our two families, is there? I've already contacted the HR department to return the president's position to you. I've also transferred 10% of the shares to you as compensation. Let's end this matter with Qin Duo here and now. You two should stop quarreling over an irrelevant person." Old Master Qin waved his hand and the butler promptly presented the share transfer agreement before me. I glanced at it, picked up the transfer agreement and immediately tore it to shreds, flinging the pieces right in front of old Master Qin. Since I've already sent out the contract to terminate our employment agreement, there's no reason for me to take it back. The same goes for my words. From this moment on, the Pei Group formally announces the dissolution of its contract with the Qin Group. Not a single cent will be invested in the Qin Group from now on. Qin Shuran's face turned deathly pale. Trembling, she said, "Pei Tingji, is this because I gave 5% of the shares to Qin Duo at the shareholders' meeting or because I publicly demanded that you apologize to Qin Duo and the company?" She swallowed hard and began to explain. "I only showed him a bit of favoritism because of the bond we've shared since childhood. You're my husband. Can't you even understand that much?" As Qin Shuran spoke, a tear slipped down her cheek. Exactly the same as when she had come to beg me to save the Qin Group before our marriage. If I hadn't known about the Qin family's ambitions, I wouldn't have been able to tell whether this act of hers was genuine or fake. Then how do you explain the wedding photo of you and Qin Duo sitting on your office desk? Was that also just playing house with him out of childhood sentiment? Qin Shuran, I'm not a fool. I don't believe there's nothing improper between you two. After I finished, Qin Shuran's face turned ashen. Her eyes widened and she blurted out, "You, how do you know?" About the photo frame, realizing her slip, she quickly tried to explain. "It's not what you think, Pei Tingji. I was just..." Before she could finish, she received a slap from old Master Qin. Her face instantly swelled up and tears streamed down. Qin Shuran covered her cheek and cried out, "Grandfather, why did you hit me?" Old Master Qin glared at her coldly, and she immediately fell silent. "Tingji, it's just a photo. It can't prove anything. Besides, she's your wife. If you can't keep your own wife in check, that's your own problem. There's no reason to escalate this to affecting the cooperation between our two families. If word of this gets out, people will only say that the Pei Group is ungrateful and treats its in-laws unjustly." He paused, then continued, "Rather than let outsiders slander the Pei Group, it's better to turn a big issue into a small one, and a small one into nothing. Let's end this matter here and stop pursuing it." I didn't say a word. Old Master Qin had said so much. Wasn't it just to retain the Pei Group's investment? Unfortunately, all his efforts were destined to be in vain. Qin Shuran had betrayed our marriage and had an affair with Qin Duo. That alone was enough to overturn the alliance between our two families. What's more, old Master Qin had been fanning the flames behind the scenes, helping Qin Duo attack my pay group, trying to swallow up my family's business. A small matter. If this is a small matter to you, old master, then withdrawing my investment from the Qin group is also a small matter to me. As soon as I said this, old Master Qin immediately fell silent. Instead, it was Qin Shuran who accused me of being petty. Pei Tingji, grandfather is right. It's just a photo. Do you have to be so stubborn about it? You go out to parties and banquets all the time, attending countless social engagements. When have I ever interfered with whatever female companions you bring along? And I just took a photo with Qin Duo as a keepsake. Yet you cling to this trivial matter. Are you even a man? The moment Qin Shuran finished speaking, laughter erupted around us. My assistant, whose face had turned dark, couldn't help but interject. Madam, President Pei never brings female companions to banquets. He only brings me. Qin Shuran's expression immediately changed, shifting like a color palette. Pei Tingji, I can't be bothered to argue with you. I'll say this once. You cannot withdraw your investment from the Qin group, or else we'll get a divorce. Qin Shuran immediately pulled the ring off her finger and tossed it into the air. The next second, a faint sound of it hitting the ground was heard. I suddenly felt she was as ridiculous as a clown. Qin Shuran, do you have some misunderstanding about me? People of the Pei family value relationships, but that doesn't mean we have no bottom line. You've already cheated on me with Qin Duo. Why should I act like a fool and cling to this marriage, letting you threaten me? From the moment I said I was withdrawing my investment from the Qin group, the alliance between our two families was already over. You're the one who didn't take it seriously. Qin Shuran's face showed utter shock. Reflecting back on the shareholders' meeting when she had publicly announced giving 5% of the shares to Qin Duo, I had already warned her that if she insisted on doing so, I would immediately pull out my investment. I thought you were just saying it. I didn't expect you to actually mean it. Her whispered words went unnoticed by anyone. I raised my wrist to glance at the time on my watch. The divorce lawyer should be arriving any moment now. The very next second, Zhang Xian, the city's most renowned divorce attorney, pushed open the door and walked in. A smirk tugged at my lips as I turned to Qin Shuran and said, "This is the gold medal divorce lawyer Zhang Xian. You wanted a divorce, didn't you? He's been retained by me to handle our divorce case exclusively." After a brief self-introduction, Zhang Xian immediately pulled a draft divorce agreement from his briefcase and handed it to me. I flipped through it. After the divorce, I would retain 80% of the joint assets, and the Qin Corporation shares under my name, due to my contributions to the company during the marriage, would be considered my personal property. But when Qin Shuran saw the distribution results, she flew into a rage. The sound of shattered bowls and plates echoed through the living room once more. "Pei Tingji, what do you mean by this? Why do I only get 20% of the assets? I don't agree." No sooner had she spoken than her phone rang from her pocket. "President Qin, it's bad. After the partnership with the Pei Group was suspended, other collaborators heard about Pei's plan to pull funding and started clamoring to withdraw too. Several partners are already at the company demanding to see you. You need to come in right away." Qin Shuran furrowed her brow and snapped back. "You bunch of incompetents, can't you figure out a way to calm them down first? I don't know what the company keeps you all for." With that, she hung up the phone. It seemed the news of my capital withdrawal from the Qin Corporation had already spread through the industry. Qin Shuran quietly reported the situation to old Master Qin. The old man's face instantly changed color. "Tingji, they say that even a day as husband and wife creates 100 days of kindness. Why not let it go for the sake of the year you've been married? There's no need to take it all the way to divorce." Just as he finished speaking, 2 police officers pushed through the door and strode straight toward old Master Qin. "Qin Fu, there's a criminal case that involves you. Please come with us." Old Master Qin was stunned. He hadn't expected the police to move so fast. Qin Shuran, completely in the dark, immediately blocked their path. "My grandfather hasn't done anything wrong. On what grounds are you arresting him?" The officers produced a summons, which clearly stated that Qin Fu was linked to a case of using online public opinion to attack others. When Qin Shuran saw it, she too was left dumbfounded. It took her a moment to snap out of it. "Grandfather, you were involved in that Qin Duo incident too." Qin Fu didn't answer. He only instructed Qin Shuran not to agree to the divorce. Watching old Master Qin being led away, Qin Shuran's eyes, which had just started to recover, reddened once more. She knew she had made a mistake. Through tears she apologized to me. Peitingji, I know I was wrong. I shouldn't have taken Chin Duo's side, but he's already gotten the punishment he deserves. Can't we just let this go? My grandfather didn't mean to do it. Whether he meant to or not, the law would decide. But I knew one thing for sure. Chin Shuren's betrayal of me was absolutely intentional. I took the tablet from my assistant's hands and thrust it in front of Chin Shuren, my voice cold. That's for the judge to decide, not me. We've been married for a year now. You should have some idea of who I am. I've always been a man of my word. This divorce is happening. On the tablet screen, surveillance footage clearly showed her on a late-night rendezvous with Chin Duo. That day had been our first wedding anniversary. Chin Shuren had made an excuse about being tied up with work and unable to make it. So I had cancelled the plans to take her to visit my grandmother. Little did I know, her idea of being busy was busy dating Chin Duo outside. She had even taken the wedding ring I gave her and had it recrafted into a new one for Chin Duo. Watching the two of them in the video, kissing as if lost in the moment, I signaled my assistant to pause. Chin Shuren, you lied to me before saying you had cut ties with Chin Duo long ago. Then how do you explain this video? Every time I thought about how she had been secretly contacting Chin Duo throughout our marriage, it infuriated me. Even if ours was just an arranged marriage, I would never tolerate being cuckolded so blatantly. When Chin Shuren saw the footage, she staggered back several steps, her lower back accidentally bumping into a vase. She let out a pained grunt. Then, trembling, she tried to explain, Peitingji, listen to me. That was just a punishment for losing a game of truth or dare. Besides, Chin Duo and I have known each other since we were kids. Enough. I don't want to hear any more of your excuses. Sign the papers. We're getting a divorce. I cut her off immediately. If I hadn't sent my assistant to look into Chin Shuren earlier, I'd never have known. She was sneaking around with Chin Duo behind my back, and she still had the nerve to think I could forgive her. Utterly ridiculous. I won't agree to this. Chin Shuren insisted stubbornly. If you won't agree, that's fine too. I can apply for a forced divorce. By then, this video will be all over the internet. Let's see which side the judge rules for. Chin Shuren fell silent, all color draining from her face. She bit her lip tightly. After a moment of deliberation, she picked up the pen and began to sign the divorce agreement. Just before the pen touched the paper, she suddenly looked up at me. I can sign, but you must restore the capital injection to the Chin Corporation. I sneered coldly and placed the video from the Chin Corporation's work group in front of her. The entrance of the Chin Corporation building was packed with people, all there to demand answers from the Chin family. Chin Shuren, do you really have the right to negotiate terms with me? The last glimmer of hope in her eyes faded as she watched the video. After she signed, I immediately left the Chin residence. Chin Shuren hurried off to the Chin Corporation to deal with the mess. In just a couple of days, I heard that Chin Shuren had been hospitalized after someone retaliated against her. I paid it no mind, focusing entirely on handling the compensation contract with the Chin Corporation. After over a month of integration and negotiations, the partnership between our two families officially came to an end. As for Chin Duo's case, there was finally a result. He had originally been sentenced to 10 years. But Chin Shuren pleaded for a lenient release and threw money at it to reduce the sentence by 3 years. Meanwhile, old Master Chin was only given a few reprimands and allowed to return home without consequence. When my assistant reported this to me, I just sneered and said nothing. After all, once old Master Chin got home, he'd find out that there was still a mountain of bad debts waiting for him. And those debts would be enough to drain the entire Chin Corporation to settle. After all, this was exactly the kind of life the Chin family deserved.